This episode of the Flush Podcast is brought to you by Walton's, everything but the meats. Seriously, they have everything but the meats. Nutrisource Pet Foods and North Dakota Tourism. Plan your hunt in North Dakota and find out why their bird hunting opportunities are legendary. And speaking of legendary, our guest today is just that. He's the loudest man you'll ever meet at bird camp. Welcome to another episode of the Flush Podcast. My name is Travis Frank. I am your host. I am fortunate to be one of the hosts of our upland bird hunting television show called The Flush. It airs on the Outdoor Channel. You can also follow our YouTube channel to watch full episodes right now, as well as on Amazon. And I am very fortunate to be sitting next to a man that I got to spend time with in the field, I should say in the woods this year.
In the water, in the woods.
In the water, in the woods. I would say, Ron Boehm, you are the loudest voice in any bird camp. Is that accurate?
It is true. It's been said that I am. But it's only because I want everybody to feel as excited about it as me.
You've got a passion for it.
I got a passion for, you know what I really have a passion for is people.
Yeah?
Honestly, I mean, I don't think I would hunt or do a third of the things I do if it wasn't for people. I just love people.
And dogs.
Yeah, dogs probably second.
Second?
I'd rather hang out with a lot of dogs than a lot of people, but
yeah.
I mean, dogs are always in the equation, but it's with people. Well, I'll get up in the morning at a camp or something, and I'm the first one yelling out, talking, and people are waiting for coffee, and I'm like, come on, let's get rolling and hunting. Let's start talking.
Let's wake this camp up and let's keep it awake until
we put it back to bed.
Till dang near sunrise.
And I'll wake you up in the morning again.
And you'll keep on going. I got to experience that firsthand. When somebody asks you, or if somebody would ask you, what in the heck do you do, Ron? What would you say to them?
Like right now?
Yeah, like what right now? What do you do?
I'm a self-employed construction worker, self-employed podcaster, new grandfather, and traveling wing shooter.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. It's a lot of titles that you wear. When did you start bird hunting? Well, actually, let me take it back. So your podcast is the Hunting Dog Podcast.
Right.
One of the
first.
Was it the first?
The first upland podcast.
Really?
2015, 1st of January, 2015.
How many episodes have you produced?
50 a year, roughly 50 a year.
Yep. I sure appreciate it. When we launched this podcast, the very first person that reached out to me to say, welcome, nice job, was you.
Yeah, I texted you.
You did. And I got to admit, Ron, I wanted to give you a big hug right through my phone.
Well, we could right now, but we're getting headsets on and it's going to be all noisy and the engineer's going to freak out.
Yeah. We shared some pretty special moments in the field this year. I'm really excited to be able to tell that story. We went on an adventure that was new to you.
Not a lot of people go on.
New to me.
Yeah.
It took us airplanes and boats to get to where we went.
Where we're going.
Yeah.
Usually you might throw one of those into the mix.
Right.
Not usually two.
Right. So that'll be coming up here in the coming season of shows. But I want to learn more about you as the podcaster, as the voice of conservation that you've become. What is it about upland bird hunting that keeps you coming back every day?
You know, I really, everybody says the dogs. Everybody loves the dogs. But let's be honest. When we're out with our dog, you can spend a good amount of time being frustrated at your dog. Right. I really just do like being outdoors, you know. And I like bird hunting specifically because it is usually a group. Not that I don't do some hunting by myself, but it's usually with a buddy or two. Sometimes we had a hosted hunt in South Dakota, and it was with 15. Got a little mayhem. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody.
Right.
But yeah, what keeps me out there is I just love being outside. I would also say I'm a bit of a fair weather hunter. You know, there's people who will tough it out in a lot worse weather. I'm like, I can always hunt tomorrow. I don't need to go out in that stuff. So I'm not an uber athlete. I don't like climb mountains for birds. Don't like it. You know, I've been offered to go chukar hunting 100 times. I've turned down every invite
You've
I've ever
never
had.
done it.
I won't do it.
Come on.
Why?
Why not? You have to experience it once in life. You have to experience what it looks like to see a dog go on
That's
point
like saying
at 7,000 feet.
No, that's like saying I've only been married to a blonde and I need to know what a brunette and it's a bird and a dog and a wing shot. It is not.
Okay.
Okay. It's not that important. I know. See, you're young. You can still walk up a mountain. I got to save what's left of my legs on flat land now. I'm 62 years old. I am not following you. You could say, Ron, I want you on the next episode of The Flush to go chukar hunting. And I'd say, no.
And that one thing that I've really come to appreciate about you is you're blunt, you're honest.
Yeah.
And one thing you just said a few moments ago was, people always say, well, I do it for the dogs.
Yeah.
But what you said right after is how frustrated they get. And, I've interviewed dozens and dozens of people over the years, and it's like they just think in their head, I have to respond with this, well, it's just great to be out here, and I do it for the dogs. Right. And then you look at how pissed they were at their dog all day, and I say, that to me did not seem genuine.
If that was your answer from the interview, didn't seem like it was like that in the field today.
Right, the reality is. And we try our best to be as real as possible with what we're putting out there. We show it as it happens. It's not scripted. These are wild birds in wild places. But there's a different reason for everybody in why they go back every single day.
Yeah.
You've been hunting for how many years now, did you say?
I got my first hunting license. I saved them, actually. They were back in the day when everything was paper, of course, you know.
Yep.
And I think it's from 1972, my first Illinois hunting license.
You grew up in Illinois?
I grew up in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
Like in the city limits.
Where did you go hunting then?
We literally had a cemetery.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. There was St. Mary's and Evergreen Cemetery that took up 3 sections of land. Our neighborhood would have been the 4th section, 160.
Yeah.
Out of those 2 cemeteries, there was just acres and acres of undeveloped property. There was actually pheasants, fox. There was no deer, but we actually trapped pheasants with a long spring trap.
Are you kidding? No, like a conibear?
No, just like a number 1 long spring.
Yep.
I don't think you catch about a squirrel for a squirrel or possum, maybe.
Where would you catch them?
Out in the grass, out where we would see pheasants flush, and we knew where they'd land at night.
Yeah.
And then we'd set these traps up in put Elmer's glue on corn, and it would dry clear. And then we'd come back in the morning, and a pheasant, sometimes when we were lucky, was choked out by the trap.
Unbelievable.
And then we practiced taxidermy on him. That was kind of like, that
was your start. So your first pheasant didn't come by shotgun?
No, it came by the jaws of a trap.
Would that be legal today?
I don't think it was legal then. I don't think it was legal then.
Okay, so after you got your fix of trapping, did you get a dog next, or did you say, I got to try to hit one of these on the wing?
No, I was real fortunate to have a neighbor whose dad was a trap shooter.
Okay.
And I was like mandatorily forced to go to church until I made confirmation. And instead of going, then I could actually go to church with my parents and everything. Or on Sundays, I could go to the Downers Grove Trap Club in Illinois with Mr. Gorman. So I wandered away from the church and into the shotgun world at about 13, 14 years of age.
Gotcha.
And
so that was your first hunting experience then?
Well, trapping the bird would be my first hunting.
Yeah.
And then BB guns and bows and arrows out there. We didn't shoot any real projectiles out there that could have hit a house, or we hit a few gravestones and everything like that. But
yeah.
But really, what I have to thank for getting into this whole thing, besides Mr. Gorman, he sold my first gun to my dad. I wasn't old enough to buy the gun, and Illinois had a pheasant stocking program, and they put it out on 3 or 4 different state game land areas every year. They release birds, and so you're talking 1972, 73. Not that I had a ponytail, but I wasn't me and my group of guys weren't probably going to get permission knocking on a door, more than likely, you know. And or at least that's the way we felt. And the state of Illinois had this really nice program that you could put in for a permit once a year to get a date reserved, or you could also go into will call line. So my buddies and I would drive down to this area in the afternoon, stay there, bring our lunch, bring our dinner, bring bring a whole cooler, and we'd be like first in line. And there was always inevitably somebody who was on the list that, didn't show up, was a no-show. So we hit that for years down there.
Does it still exist today?
Still does. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Same program?
Same program. And, a lot of people kind of knock it. And I'm like, no, I said it kept me and the four of the guys that were with me all the time, 3 of them still wing shoot.
Really?
Yeah, it was just, it was like, wow, none of our friends are doing this, And then down there, of course, we didn't have dogs. But a gentleman came up to us. We were at the check station. And, of course, it was a state program. You could shoot hens and roosters. So we had a couple hens, a couple roosters. And he asked us if we wanted to go out and get any more. We had more people than we had birds. And he says, my dog could use some more work. So these kind of places were pretty easy for a dog in general.
How what's the timeline on when they put the birds out there?
Oh, we ended up knowing the people so well, we'd go out and help.
Okay.
So what they would do is they would go out the night before off this big flatbed truck and they'd just shoot them. So there was 2,000 acres and they literally just shoot them, like open a crate, shoot them.
Yep.
And they drove all these trails through all these 2,000 acres. And of course we would always shoo a few extra
if you knew you were going to be going.
Well, no, because you get assigned a spot.
Oh, you knew your quadrant.
But after 2 hours,
yeah,
you could change areas. So we kind of would want, without a dog, we needed a little help, you know?
Right.
And I don't know if it ever really paid us off, but, as all kids, you're going to try to beat the system somehow.
Isn't it fun to look back on those days?
I loved it.
And I have fond memories, too, just growing up and the things that, I trapped to, and I did all, I hunted for everything that I legally could.
Right.
And I think today, I look back and I'm thankful for that time to really learn about all the animals, because I think it helps you become a better overall hunter. So when did you introduce dogs into your life?
Well, the first real dog, I would say, was probably in my late 20s, German Shorthair out of a newspaper. Prior to that, I got a golden retriever and didn't work. I mean, it just wasn't hunting stock, It's a great dog, but just wasn't hunting stock.
Very cuddly at home.
A sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've worked on the road my entire life in construction. So until I was married for a very short time at a practice run. Then I was single for a few years, which was no way I was going to have a dog. So it's like I got married so I could get a dog. That way I had someone.
How does she feel about that?
She doesn't listen to my show, and I doubt if she'll listen to yours. So we're fine. You do not need to edit this.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, there's no editing.
Yeah. And what? And so anyway, when I moved to Michigan, and that was 33 years ago, that's when I got my first dog that I would call a bird dog. And then it's just been a progression of always looking for another dog, looking for another place to hunt. And you mentioned public lands earlier. I was coming from Illinois, which is so privately owned. And the places we had were obviously the state game areas. So I meet this guy in Michigan right off the bat at a job site. Somebody hears that I like to hunt. He's a bird hunter. He asked me if I want to go grouse hunting. I bet you I hunted with Jeff for 2 years and did not realize I was on public land. I just thought he lived there his whole life.
Yeah.
And there's no signs everywhere. Like the Manistee is so chopped up in lower Michigan. You don't pull up to a spot and it says, "Welcome to the Manistee National Forest." So like for 2 years, I'm like, I've got all these great grouse spots. I've been hunting on public land all the time.
You didn't even know it.
I kept thinking like, if I go back without Jeff, I'm going to have to figure out who the landowner is.
Yeah.
And no, there's no landowner. I was the landowner.
Wow. I remember the place that I learned to hunt. There's now about right around 2,000 houses there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a couple of my old deer stands are still up in some people's backyards. I'd put them in the crotch of a tree.
And they just grew around
They just kind of grew around it. You can see the old wood still there. So and they've altered the landscape so much. So it's amazing over all this time how things change. What, in your career in upland bird hunting now, how many years have you been in it, you said?
Well, like I said, I don't think there's a year I haven't swung a shotgun since 1972.
What's the biggest change you've seen in upland bird hunting in that time? Is there one thing that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think less birds. I mean, just from my place in Michigan to 20 years ago, going to South Dakota, going to, Canada's kind of still a little untouched. It probably isn't these days. I haven't been there in a few years.
Yeah.
But just like when you learn more about there's plenty of places to go, but it does seem like there's less birds, and it's got to be, it's certainly related to habitat.
Right.
Even if there's good habitat on that state place or that weehaw or that walk-in area, there's not that good a habitat around it. Mm-hmm. That's the shame. It's like having all these little shining monuments, and then everything around it isn't going to support the life. So that's what I've seen more of. Just like you said with the houses, like a lot of the spots I hunted, I was probably on a little bit of private. Didn't have an Onyx thing on my phone.
Didn't even know back then.
Didn't even know anything. So I was cutting through. Obviously nowadays, I'll go to a spot where I said, I haven't been there in a long time. Oh, I guess that corner or that acreage on the corner was private because there's a house there now.
Right.
So, I think just habitat, it just seems like there's less birds, but I'm sure it's less habitat, know?
Yeah. So at what point in your life did you start a podcast to start talking about all this stuff?
I started listening to podcasts about 2 years before I started one. 2 years before I started one. I was filming a show with Steve Vernell, the Meat Eater program, and he brought out the kitchen table after the day's hunt. He brought out the microphones just like this, and I said, we're doing a podcast? He goes, yeah. He said, try to stay sober. And I'm like, well, not that I was going to fall down, but if you see me with a few more beers in, that's why you hear me louder at camp, okay? It increases.
You're louder after the hunt than you are. Well, you're loud in the morning.
I'm loud in the morning, too.
But you're a little bit louder in the evening.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
There's just more. There's new stories.
Right.
New lies to tell.
Right.
That just happened in the last 8 hours.
And it's amazing that people buy it, too.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so he brought this out. And so I've been a podcast fan for a long time. Mm-hmm. I'd call it a long time. And I just assumed you needed a studio. Like, even this is not a studio. You have an engineer, but it's not a studio.
Yeah.
It's just a room. And we just did it at the kitchen table. And as soon as we hung up the headphones, my heads just started spinning. I mean, especially with I'm a senior judge for North American Versatile Hunting Dog. So I travel all over the country seeing other dogs, all the different breeds of pointing dogs. And, like you said, how much I like to talk. I'm like, this is perfect.
Right.
I'm going to start talking into a microphone. I'm going to record all my memories, my friends, my hunts. So that's how I got into podcasting, because Steve did his first episode down there at that kitchen table. Mm-hmm. And what I just thought, you've been turning on the radio since you're a kid. You see a radio tower, you see an office, I literally did not know you could do this off your cell phone, your laptop.
It's opened an avenue for people that have, you're very knowledgeable about the topic. You live it, you breathe it, and you're good at speaking about it too. So it's enjoyable to listen to you because you're passionate about it.
Right.
And we've got access to people that are really passionate about it, that maybe they didn't go to college and get a journalism degree and work their way into this opportunity.
Joe Rogan didn't.
Yeah, exactly. But
that man's printing money with a podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting out there. So you've done it for a few years now, and you've really traveled all over the country.
Yeah.
If you could hunt for just one bird, what would it be and why?
I was asked that before, and everyone's like, "You're kidding me." It's still going to be the pheasant.
Pheasant?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Because for one, it was the first bird I encountered as a kid.
Yeah.
And then the first bird I shot at state-run programs. Mm-hmm. But then when I got a dog into the mix, it's like the pheasant reminds me of me. Loud and gaudy, doesn't play by the rules. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a reflection of everything I love about a bird. Like, I have never got done with a grouse hunt, stood there, lit a cigar or a cigarette, or opened a cold beer at the end, or a pop or whatever, and then have a grouse come up at my feet. I have literally stood in pheasant fields, talked, walked, smoked, gone to the bathroom, and somewhere the next step you take, the rooster's been sitting.
Up.
He's been sitting next to you the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know another bird that will do that to you, or sneak around the back of you and sneak around the back of you again. It's a sneaky, nasty, dirty, colorful, loud, gaudy, lovable bird, just like me.
Yep.
Just like me.
Ron the pheasant. So tell me about your dog now. I absolutely love your dog.
Oh, Bravo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of judging other people's dogs. You really, if you can take your rose-colored glasses off, you really do see, I see every one of the Continental which are all the pointing breeds in this country and other countries. And you get to you realize that, man, there's like perfect dogs in every breed. Some breeds carry a little, what would you call it, reputation, right?
Yep. And is that just the bloodlines that you think carries that reputation?
No, I think that what carries the reputation is once we've brought these dogs over from Europe, we really Americanize them. We don't have breed wardens. We don't have a club that says, no, we don't have, or we do now in some cases. We didn't have like breeders joining an alliance to hold themselves up. We had like, Travis, you got a good dog. I got a good dog. Let's get some puppies out of them.
And see what they can make.
And a lot of dogs that were here early, especially German Shorthairs and a lot of other ones. And I was guilty of that. I'm a backyard breeder because my kennel is in my backyard. So that makes me a backyard breeder. But my first one was a garage breeder with the guy who's had this gorgeous looking short hair, and I had a female in heat,
Let's see what we can make.
So I think what happens is you'll still see the best of those breeds out there, but you see a lot of the worst from guys like me that did what I did. Because there's really a lot to breeding, which is a whole rabbit hole to go down.
Right.
But anyway, being able to judge all these dogs and realizing how good they all can be. A friend of mine happened to be on vacation in Italy, took a picture of this. He knew it was a bird dog because it was a dock tail. He found a breeder in the States. There was only 2 of them at the time. There's probably only 6 now. And he got a pup from him that was returned. And this is the Bracco Italiano that you've got to meet up there at Beaver Island. So he had the dog, and I rehomed the dog for him because it happened to be gun shy. And then getting to know that dog, I said, this dog's a clown. I don't know. I don't care if this dog hunts. What I should have is a pet pheasant, a pet Rucha pheasant, and a dog. That's what I should have. Okay.
Right.
And so I said, I'm gonna find me a Bracco. And there was I think a third breeder out there somewhere, and I contacted him, and I guess kind of luckily because of my credentials in NAVDA and anybody who's got a rare breed, they want these dogs to go into hunting homes and ideally someone who's got a little stroke in the business, so to speak. So I got to handpick a pup out of a litter, and she was just a sweetheart of a dog, just not as dopey as Bravo.
Yeah.
Not as drooly as Bravo.
Oh, Bravo is just like, when we're done walking, he comes up and
leans on you.
He leans on you, and then if you sit down, he lays on you, and he's got these big jowls, and he drools on you. He drools on you, and you just want him to stay. Like most dogs, you want to push off, like get off me.
Right.
Not Bravo.
No. He's part of it.
Yeah, he's
to make him go lay down. I actually have to scold him.
Really?
Then he's like, oh, he's serious.
He seems like the kind of dog that would crack a beer and have one with you.
Oh, he would. If he had thumbs.
Yeah.
He would absolutely be that dog.
He'd probably tell some damn good stories, too.
He'd probably tell the truth, too. That's one thing.
Correct.
Dogs can't lie. They can cheat.
Yeah.
But they can't lie.
So you've been with NAVDA now for how many years?
Probably 25 years.
25 years. So you're a senior judge on that. What does that mean?
Well, you join a judging program as an apprentice, then as a regular judge. Every test has 3 judges, a senior judge and 2 judges and they may all be 3 seniors sometimes, but one judge has to be a senior judge, which just means you've run enough tests, you've seen how the format goes, and you're someone who, I don't want to say alpha male, but someone talky like me. You can't have a wallflower. He could be the best dog guy in the world, but if he doesn't, talk well and he doesn't get people's attention and organize, so if you've done it enough, then they recognize you as one of the people like, you know what, there's a program for it now. I won't go into that. But back in the day, it was just a nod. It was like, he's ready to be a senior judge.
Gotcha.
And that's just so this test is very complicated at the utility level. We've only got so many hours of daylight. We've got to make it roll. We've got to get this done. We got to go here. And if you're not that person that can keep that test running, you're going to be reading scores, in the headlights instead of, before sunset. So, yeah, I've been doing that I've been judging for 20 years, I think.
So when a guy brings his dog in, what's their plan? What is he hoping to achieve that day?
Well, in our system, you're there for an evaluation of your dog's, like in a puppy level, you're there for an evaluation of your dog's inherited instincts. And that's it. There's no obedience on the card. The owner's just there to hook the dog up with a leash and unhook it so we can watch it do things.
Gotcha.
At utility levels or utility prep levels, there's where the training comes in for steadiness and obeying commands in the field, which, 90% of most bird dogs don't obey commands in the field. My hand's up right here.
Yeah.
Unless you stay with that a lot, a dog will always revert back to some level of disobedience, but to a point where it's like, we're still hunting with you, but I'm going over there for a little bit,
Right.
But so yeah, NAVHDA is what is what really, I don't want to say gave me love. It was another people thing. I get to go. There's no pay involved. You don't get paid, but your travel expenses are paid. And sometimes they put it up in people's houses, or hotels. So me being that person that loves people, I get to go to a new state, a new chapter, and meet a whole bunch of new people. Mm-hmm. And I get to see their dogs.
And you're a people person.
And I'm a people person. And they happen to have dogs, so they come in second again.
Yeah.
Because it's not the dogs that invite me back to come hunting.
Right.
It's the people I met.
The dog could talk. You'd be like, oh, crap, Ron's here again.
I'm telling you, if dogs could talk, they wouldn't even let us walk with them.
Right. So I know a lot of people that hunt their dogs. Some people do trials, and some people won't mix those two. Is there a reason why somebody only has a trial dog that they won't take out on a hunt?
Yeah, I think it's just a competition thing. There's if it's a trial thing, there's a winner, and there's people out there that want to be the winner. Mm-hmm. They'll be okay if they don't win. They're not going to take their bat, ball, and glove and sell their truck.
Yeah.
But when they go there, they want at the end of the day to walk back and like, yeah, I had the best dog today.
Yeah.
Where I just want to know that I had the best conversation.
Yeah.
So there are people that cross over, but it's rare. Trials are competitive, and hunt tests are for information.
Gotcha.
Now,
why does a guy refuse to take that trial dog hunting?
I see what you're saying. I don't think that's really the truth, but a lot of times it is just a sport to them. That is the game they play, and the dog's fine. Dog's getting to work. Dog doesn't care. It's just that person. There's people that trial and literally, and there's trainers out there. Some of the best trainers in this world. I talked with, was it Rick or Ronnie Smith, one of the two, on one of my podcasts. And I asked them when the last time they went hunting, and they just looked at me like, I'm training dogs, man. I don't have time to go hunting.
Does it take the fun out of it, though?
Apparently not. Maybe they like dogs to a different level than I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Several. I was just hunting in Kansas with Justin McGrail. It's a friend of mine, trainer. He's on my podcast frequently doing questions and answers. And he shot a couple birds, but he brought 12 dogs out there to get them more exposure. That's what his goal is out there. It's all hard to understand.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too. I mean, I think a lot of people that don't have as much time to invest in the field. I mean, you get to spend a lot of time out there. You're with a lot of other people. But if they say, I've got a dog, sure wish it could be a little bit better in the field. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it pisses me off when we're hunting. What advice do you have to somebody that says, I just want to have a better experience with my dog in the field?
Well, you just have to work obedience with your dog. Everything in a dog's life, everything that a dog has came from the mother and father as far as talent. Everything as far as listening comes from you. So it's just, you've got to be more consistent with that dog. You either go to a trainer, and then what happens, you go to a trainer, you get the dog, the trainer shows you how perfect the dog's acting, and 6 weeks later, that dog doesn't even come when you call it. A good trainer will take you under his wing too and train you to train your dog. But, I don't know how to really answer it any other way. I don't know.
If a dog won't hunt, can you ever break that in a dog and get it to hunt? Or I guess maybe a better question is, I had a friend who had a puppy, and the first time a shotgun went off.
Oh, gun shy.
Yeah. Done. Never hunted a day in his life.
Right. Dog. That tragically happens with a lot of dogs. There is a lot of dogs out there that were bought with good intention. Mm-hmm. Dogs are, I don't want to say there are not, I don't want to say breeds of dogs. They're just, let's just say dogs in general. Out of all the dogs born, some of them are so softly temperamented, it's just like kids in school. Remember there was kids that didn't get picked for the basketball or the football team. And then there was kids that were always acting up in class like me, getting put in a corner. And so there's all those ranges, and all those ranges of dogs exist too. So you got that kid that if the door opened, he'd jump and the other one would jump at the door. So with dogs, their temperament is one of the reasons that they'll become gun shy. You could make some mistakes. You could probably make a good dog gun shy if you tried. But according to people I've talked, and I've bred quite a few litters of dogs and judged a lot of dogs, judged a few that were gun shy in the field. The owners, they were tiptoeing around it. In our puppy test, we have to shoot a couple shots before we get going. And so I'm very familiar with gun shyness. And I think most of the time it's that dog, and that dog needed some help getting used to noises. Think about getting used to scary movies when you were a kid. Like, I still can't listen to Tubular Bells from The Exorcist. I hid in the back of the Chevy when that movie's at the drive-in.
Nobody's been able to break you of that.
No, you can't. But I'll bet you some psychologists could slowly put it up on a screen without the voice, like that.
Yeah.
And eventually, I might be able to watch They could break me, right? They could break me of my fear of The Exorcist. And a lot of dogs, you could get that first gunshot scares them, and you can desensitize them to the noise through, we won't go into the training of it. You could desensitize them to that noise where they associate that noise with something good. And then that dog, your friend's dog, could have been saved, possibly. But there are dogs out there that are just a basket of nerves, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It just comes in.
Are there mistakes that you see dog owners make that causes their dog to not be as productive or be a poor hunter, or things that you tell people that they should avoid?
Yeah, when we're judging, we try not to. It's kind of like telling somebody what they should do at home or how they should clean their car.
It's a tough conversation to have for sure. But if
they ask us, then we're really willing to give our opinion, and you'll have three judges. And I'll back up a bit to become a judge. Besides serving usually a 2-year apprenticeship on your own dime, going all over the country, you also have to pass a dog at a utility level, which means a fully trained dog. So you at least did it once yourself.
Yeah.
And so we're not all trainers, but we've all trained.
You've been there.
Right.
Yep.
Just because you have a hammer doesn't make you a carpenter.
Yeah.
But you might be able to pound a nail in, right?
Right.
And so if somebody asks, we will certainly try to steer them. And I think that what people do is they get the dog and they treat it like a kid. More like a kid than it should be treated like. And a dog is like an opportunistic. There's an age with a puppy where you couldn't lose a little puppy. You ever go visit puppies? All they're going to do is untie your shoes, right?
Right.
You take that same litter out, fast forward 10 months, you come visit and you let the gate open, they're going to go in 10 directions. They may not go a mile away, but they're going to go look they're no more interested in your shoelaces. So I think they need
the discipline right off the
bat, just like kids.
Yeah.
To me, I've told this 1,000 times, puppies and kids are identical, but the problem is, I've got a new grandson, I got another one that's 2 years old. Not a lot has happened in 2 years with my grandson, except that he can climb on furniture. It's been a slow progression. You can always no, now you're climbing on furniture. Oh, that's a no. We add no, right? Mm-hmm. With a dog, they're just like kids, except they grow up like at warp speed. And all of a sudden, you've got a healthy 16-year-old teenager that happens to be in reality only 7 or 8 months old.
Right.
And for the first 6 or 7 months, you're a little baby. You haven't done anything with this dog. Yet. So I think people make the mistake of treating them like kids and not doing, they need, and I don't mean hard discipline, they need structure quickly. And if they get that structure quickly, they always will, they'll know that you're the alpha, that you're the boss. The dogs seek a pack. And if they get that from you, people are intimidated though. Like, if I've had so many people write me, I'm getting my first dog, I don't know what to get, I don't know what to do. I'm almost like, well, why are you doing it?
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean,
it's intimidating.
And so on that same topic, if you've seen so many different breeds, right, over all these years, is there a single breed that, if you looked at 100 GSPs or 100 Draghars, like if you looked at from a big picture standpoint, which dog stands out to you as having the skills to be just elite in the field hunting?
Wow, that's a tough. The two most popular dogs in NAVHDA are the German Shorthair and the German Wire. So certainly I've seen more of those, but I've liked less of those, if that makes sense.
Just because you've seen so many, you're watered down to it?
No, because I've seen like that's nothing special. That's just a bird dog. There's some breeds out there that I like a dog that in our scorecards there's a thing called cooperation. And when a dog has super high desire, which most short hairs do, most wire hairs do, they're those ones that they need structure quickly. Now, I'm not bragging on the Bracco Italiano here, but now as I got older, I like this dog that kind of matures a little slower and isn't so wound up about things. So I've liked a lot of the recent imported dogs, or when I see a dog come over from Europe that we have the same breed here, but over in Europe, they still have different standards they live by.
Right.
And you go like, I'll see a short hair come over from Europe, and I'm like, holy cow, this dog not only hunts as great as that other one, he loves me as much as Bravo does, right? For an example, before we go too deep, there's a young woman over in Hungary that has wire-haired Vizslas. Now, there's a few of them here in the country. There's a lot of regular Vizslas. She has 2 wire-haired Vizslas. I interviewed her a year ago, and she came over here with her 2 dogs, went to the Potomac chapter test. Most people, if we're judging, we're like, oh, we got a wire-haired poodle pointer, we got wire-haired Vizsla. And I wonder how that's, we kind of roll on the side, we'll roll our eyes a little bit. Oh, I wonder how that's going to go, because we just don't see many of them.
Right.
So this girl comes over, Zophie, she comes over with a friend, 2 dogs, and gets a prize 1 utility score with both her male and female, never ran in a NAVHDA test in her life. Now, she runs a European test. They're similar. They're not the same. And my buddy Chip Bondi, who's one of the oldest judges in NAVHDA, one of the sweetest guys, and probably one of the best judges out there. He's another guy. He does not walk around with rose-colored glasses on. I called him up to ask him about, because I know he walked the field with her. And before I interviewed her, I wanted to get some intel. And he says, Ron, in all my years of judging, he's probably got 35 years of judging, he goes, the best teamwork, cooperation, and set of dogs I've ever seen in my life
was her dogs.
Her dogs. Her and her dogs. He said it was like quiet ballet. And we get people out that are, You ever been around anybody that just,
Oh my gosh. You and I experienced
we experienced a little bit of that.
I don't know that there's, I would say more times than not, I'm out in the field with somebody who I have to just like almost cut my ears a little bit and just they're yelling at their dog.
Right. So to say, is there a dog? I really can't. But what I've liked is sometimes when I see where our dogs all came from and what they're still doing with their dogs in Europe. You could say what you want about France or Germany or England, but they hold themselves to a higher standard than we do.
They do. They absolutely.
I mean,
I've
have you ever been over there?
Yeah. No, I've not. I've been invited a few times, and I think it's something that I may do someday.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it yet. I've hunted with people that have hunted over there.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's basically, I mean, in its simplest form, hunting over there versus hunting here, we don't realize how good we have it.
Oh, right.
And
that's why they almost do everything right.
Yeah,
because they've got limited opportunities.
Exactly.
So we're not going to have a dog that's decided to go hunt on the other side of a mountain. This dog is going to hunt with you.
Yeah.
It's going to be it's bred to be connected with you. And I tell people another analogy is like, I asked you if you ever been to Europe. If you want to think about our dogs and their dogs, go to a gas station in Europe. You know what they got? Gas, oil, water, maybe a beer. In Germany, there's beer, which is great for me. There's a beer dispenser there outside, like a pop machine.
Yeah.
There's very few snacks, right? It's a fuel
station. Priorities.
Right. Come to one of our gas stations. You can get steaks, 47 flavors of chips,
right?
47 kinds of candy, 47 brands of cigarette. I mean, we did the same thing with our dogs. We're like, let's just have everything we want.
Right.
You know?
We are spoiled.
And I'm not blaming public lands on that. I'm blaming the fact that we're just Americans, and gosh darn it, we're going to do it our way.
This is how we're going to do it.
Right.
So all this time you've been with dogs. Now you've made a career out of this. Are you still doing construction?
A little bit, yeah. I still have a few guys working for me.
Okay.
I'm really getting close to just closing that door, and a lot of that is just for, well, for the fact that my podcast has started to turn into a full-time second job.
I was going to ask you that next. Yeah.
And I can handle it. I do it a lot at night, and I do it on the road and everything like that. But I've been in construction so long, it's time. I mean, I'm at the size where I was a big company. Now I'm a very small company. And when things are booming like this, you really need a big company again, because you get people that ask you to do things and you can't do it. You don't.
Yeah, because you request it all over the place.
Right. That's like me asking you to make, like if I asked you to throw one more show on your production company, you guys would figure out how to,
we could do it.
You could do it.
Yep.
But if you were just in your first production, like when Ron started this thing, he couldn't have had 3 people coming at him like, well, we need a show, we need a show, we need a show. He'd be like, I don't have the people.
Right. Right. So do you enjoy this then, I guess is my question. Now that it's become your life, your career, is it still as enjoyable as it was when you started?
The podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to it. I look forward to every conversation. I cannot wait to get somewhere and talk to people. And my goal is to do this, like start out, everything was on the phone. Then a few interviews, when I go somewhere and judge, or a few hunting trips. Now I'm probably averaging maybe 20% in person. My goal is to just take this show on the road and go coast to coast, literally go do a couple months worth of podcasts, come back, edit it, get me an engineer. Like, what's your name?
Brandon.
I want a Brandon the engineer working for me. And literally turn it into like a really professional. I mean, I'll never be professional. I just want the podcast
Thank
to be
goodness. Nobody wants you to change.
No,
you can't
I know.
change.
Nobody
That's
wants
why
to
you're so successful, because
I guess.
you are you.
I-
You're the biggest voice in bird camp.
I am. That might be the title of this episode for you.
It is.
The biggest voice in bird camp.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you taking some time today.
Yeah.
I know you've got big plans moving forward.
Yep, we'll be at Pheasant Fest there.
I'm glad to spend some time with you in the field. We're going to have an episode coming up here in this coming season together.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed Bravo out there in the woods, and it was okay spending time with you too.
Yeah. Well, it happens a lot. Don't worry.
Hey, let's do this again if it works out.
I'll pop back or you pop over.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Jeff.